Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to tell you, for those of you, most of you know me, and you know I can be a lot of information at once. I'm going to have a lot of information because I've had so much time that I really want to get some things in, but I'm really trying to give you the highlight reel. So there may be a couple of things that leave you wanting more or a little more information. So please feel free to ask the question, stick it in the chat, get some clarity. Tell me to stop talking for a minute so you can ask your question. You're welcome to interrupt. My communication doesn't like long silences. So even when I try to pause, I may not pause long enough. Um, I will be posting most likely this video on YouTube. I've had two recordings, but this one will probably go up. So if for any reason, we'll be sharing my screen most of the time, so most of you won't be seen. But if you don't want to be seen, I usually try to crop people out. But if I don't edit and it just goes up, if you don't want to be seen, feel free to take your camera off. I just want to let you know so that you're comfortable. And with that, we will get started. I am super excited to kind of share everything that's been happening um, goodness, since the beginning of the year, because I feel like I keep getting more clarity and it keeps getting a little bit bigger. But I'm excited about what's coming. So, most of you are familiar with practical strengths. You know, we are all about creating the future that we want here. Practical strengths, what we are, our ideas, resources, and community. But community has really become a big piece of the why we are here. And a lot of that for me has come with the move back to the States, with me just exploring relationships, with me exploring my place in community. And this is something that has been important to me for a very, very long time. I have two tattoos, on one on each heel, and they're actually constellations. But the idea for the tattoo on my feet started probably 10 years ago. And I was thinking about getting roots or community or belong or something. I wanted to feel like I belonged somewhere. And I heard this song by Alice Merton called No Roots. And she says, I've got no roots because my home was never on the ground. And I realized that my mom taught me the constellations, and Orion is something I have on a quilt from my dad's jackets from when he passed away. And so I have those two constellations because anywhere I've ever been in the world, I could always see those constellations. So that became what grounds me. But community has been a thread for me for a very long time. And so after the forum last year, we developed the co-op. And the Practical Strengths Co-op is a wonderful group of people. One person who happens to belong as an organizational member is on the call, Penny, but is not listed here at the moment. But she's also here. We have some absolutely wonderful people who have a vision, who believe in strengths in the same way that I do. And this co-op was really an opportunity for us to create something where strengths was the foundation. So the way I explain this is that we are a team of dynamic thought leaders, strategic partners, and compassionate coaches who are committed to empowering organizations and educational institutions to apply Clifton strengths in practical, effective, and lasting ways. Success and sustainability is huge for me, as is accessibility. And I think you will see that throughout this talk. We want to come in because often organizations find themselves at a crossroads. And I think right now they're finding themselves at a crossroads that is perhaps one of the bigger crossroads they've encountered in a long time. And so sometimes that's due to rapid growth. Sometimes that's due to limited resources, whether that's manpower or finances. Or sometimes it's one or two people that are trying to make the whole thing run, and it's not even their full-time job, it's their extracurricular job, but they do it because they love it. So we don't implement solutions for them, but we move forward with them. We really help them create the momentum by giving them the competence and the confidence they need with strengths and with developing programs so that they can really take that ball and run. Our mission is to help them build conscious strengths-based cultures that include foresight and conscious capitalism as part of our other two pillars, so that we really create a very integrated and holistic program for them to create the culture and the future that they want at their institutions. And so with this global bench, we have people with all kinds of expertise. So it's not just about me going in and getting an organization and doing everything. It's about me saying, oh, you have a Hispanic leadership. Let me bring in Eduardo. Oh, you need something with HR. Let me bring in Sherry. We have people who have knowledge to build our bench so that we share those development, and they don't have to look at outside consulting to get all of those things. We really want to build something that ensures a much higher chance of success and that they can build their initiatives on strengths, because I really have a strengths and philosophy, not just strengths. Now, an excellent example, and Penny, if you want to speak up to this, please feel free to speak up to this. But Nicolay has been our really our proof of concept organization who has come in as an organizational member of Practical Strengths. They've run through a training program. We're doing a second cohort this fall. We've been together working for almost a year now, and in conversation. And I just had the great pleasure of going up and doing 2 workshops at Nicolay a couple of weeks ago, one that was open to the community and one that was for their strengths champions. Nicolay has been investing in strengths for a really long time, but I feel like Practical Strengths has really validated what they've wanted to do with strengths and given them more of a road to run. And they're developing some amazing stuff. So I don't know, Penny, if you want to say anything or not. I don't want to put you on the spot.
No, I'm happy to jump in. I honestly, when I went off camera, I was running to go grab my Remarkable and just write a quick note. Because when you mention community, Nicolay is built on a community that transforms lives. We are the smallest of 16 technical colleges in Wisconsin. We are also located in a rural community where the next higher education institution is 2 hours away from us. So we're very remote. We have, as Joe put it, we are small but mighty. And we have been doing strengths for our staff for about 8 years. But it really became stagnant because, as Joe said, we don't have it in anybody's job description. It's been very organic. It's been those who have a passion. And when I started looking at Joe's work, I went, we connect to her mission, her vision, her values. That is what we as an institution are. And over the last year, we have just finally made momentum. So we went from having every single institute or every single staff member taking the assessment to now the staff members going, I need my 34. Managers going, can I please have the grid? People saying, can you come in? So another staff member went through the championship roadmap that we had in the fall and immediately said, Joe needs to come to campus. So between multiple opportunities of grants and different things, we brought her to campus for 2 days with 2 different half-day workshops. I haven't yet shared with her the feedback from my workshop with our staff on a Friday morning, but everyone says we need more. We need Joe to come back annually. We need to begin having the same language. So just that little bit that we have done over this last year has, I feel, put us leaps and bounds. And the reason that I looked at this as an opportunity was because we were putting a lot into Gallup certified coaches. We fully believe in them. We need them on our staff. But many of them walking out the door. And by the time we put in their time and what it cost, it was $10,000 for one person when we took their time and what it cost us to get them certified. We put 6 people through for less than $10,000. And they are making a much bigger impact because they're speaking the same language. Also, out of her Thursday morning opportunity that we had to our staff, our community, and our students, we have already momentum coming and saying, can you do more of this for us? So I have to admit, I'm on a little bit of a mission. I'm going to make strengths as a second language come to life in northern Wisconsin. But so I'm happy to answer any questions, but it was just one of those where I went, we align, and this is where we needed to go. And it's given us the momentum that I really think will keep it alive over the next years to come. So that's where I'm at.
Thank you so much for sharing, Penny. Yeah, I've been super excited. This is, I know it's one client at this scale, but this is what I want to do. And this is the proof is in the pudding. And I feel like Leadership Rhode Island that gave the proof that really just one strength, one change like strengths could make such an impact and such a difference. This is the proof that practical strengths and our vision for it has legs. And I could not have done it without Penny and her vision and what she wanted to do. But putting the two together, I really do feel like the foundation now is a lot more solid for them to build on. And the goal is not for us to run their programs. The goal is for us to go in and build that foundation so they can build on top of it and keep it going. So the fact that they are doing that, that is just proof that it is working and it can be successful. So it is a partnership, but it is one where we are the support, but not completely dependent upon. And that's what I kind of love about this vision. Thank you. Um, so where has that taken us? So I've been trying to figure out how do we explain practical strengths and who do we really support? And we really do kind of have three areas that we support. And one of those is my past has been 80% other strengths coaches, which has been wonderful. And that's still a big piece of what we're going to be doing. But I'm trying to shape that a little differently because we need to get out to the public. We need to get to the people who have no idea what strengths are. So we've got a public path that we're taking now in a couple of different ways. We launched the 52 Sparks Journal, which has nothing to do with strengths, but we've got the color journal. It just came in before I went to Wisconsin. So co-op members, anybody who ordered a special edition, you will be getting yours. Penny has hers because I saw her in Wisconsin. They came right before I left. So I will be getting those in the mail. So we've got 52 Sparks Project. We've got the Thoughtful Book Club, which I'll be sending out more information and email on that. But it's a way to have communication and discussions around books and thoughtful ways of building our societies and rebuilding relationships and how do we connect to one another again. And so we got to get them started talking and then we can weave strengths in there eventually, right? But let's just get them talking first. The Best Of podcast I'm going to be relaunching later this year, which are 5 questions I love to use to get people to talk to one another that maybe don't know one another and find some common ground. The Future Me Challenge, which is going on right now. Some of you are participating. It is really exercising your mental muscle to get it ready for foresight, to teach you how to think more actively in that future way. And then Bread and Banter is kind of based on a Jeffersonian dinner, as well as Trevor Noah's If I Ruled the World. And so it's going to be bringing 8 to 10 people together for really intimate conversations, but around very specific topics so that we can listen to differing ideas across different generations and really just have see what we can do, see what we can change, see what impact we can have. So that's our public facing path that does not require any strengths knowledge whatsoever, but hopefully is opening the door for people to come in and learn more. Then second, we have the strengthen practice, right? So the strengthening practice is around coaches and individuals who use strengths already. So the roadmap for strengths champions, that's open for co-op members to become facilitators and potentially trainers at some level. So the roadmap that we've been running for Nicolay, that is something for our co-op members to do. Within that, we also have co-op and mentoring. The mentoring program is more of an introductory level. So if you're still trying to learn a lot of the things, you still receive a lot of the same training as the co-op, but at a lesser charge and with lesser commitment. But it does get you going down the path and helping you develop your own business. We have 52 Sparks, but we have a strengths-oriented 52 Sparks. So we actually have 52 Strengths Sparks that I have not launched yet or shared out there, but those are out there as well. And then we have our normal webinars. We're starting to build our calendar back up. So we'll have masterminds and we'll have lab sessions. Those lab sessions are places where if you have an idea, an activity, a program, a workshop, anything that you want to sort of go in and have a playground, have a sandbox where you can test it out. We invite other coaches in and you can test that thing out with other people who know strengths and know what you're talking about and get the feedback you need to see if it's going to work or how great it is. And hopefully that'll be like if somebody's like, oh my God, this is amazing. Can I use something like that? That this would be a sharing space. So you'll be able to learn different ways that people are approaching strengths as well. And then we're building some affiliate tools in as too. Oops, that went backwards. Let's go this way. And then finally, it's about building cultures. And the cultures are really where we look at organizations and institutional, educational institutions. Um, that's where we use the roadmap for strengths. So that becomes a train the trainer. So really, we're training internal strengths champions to run with this. So we do the initial training, and then they will end up doing the training in house once they feel like they have the capacity to do so. We also have a Catalyst program. The Catalyst program is it's a leadership program, but it's really kind of a Cliff's Notes versions of the roadmap. So this is our way to outreach, get people in who maybe have a smaller budget, aren't really sure if they want to invest in the roadmap. This is a 6-week program across 3 months that will teach people foresight, conscious capitalism, and strengths all sort of in a connected manner. So we're going to be beta launching that a little bit later this year. Conscious Culture Labs for companies who want to learn more about how to build a conscious culture using foresight tools as well, doing training for them, and of course, the traditional team workshops that we can offer. Any questions about that so far? What we're offering or what Practical Strengths is? Most of you guys know this, but it's just been a little bit of an evolution of where we are.
Joe, real quick, the
Yeah.
Catalyst, again, the intended audience, or was it the
So
parallel?
the Catalyst program is kind of like a mini roadmap. So we're not really training them. What we're doing is we're using the Catalyst program to get them excited about the possibilities. So we'll bring in like different organizations, people from the community, different organizations who want to come and can invest to learn about strengths and foresight and conscious business practices sort of all at once. And then hopefully they'll be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. We need this at our organization. Hey, let's do the roadmap. So hopefully we use this as an outreach and bringing people in. As co-op members, you guys will be going through a version of this so you learn it. Again, as a co-op member, if you like this Catalyst program, if it fits into what you're doing in your own business, you'll be able to take it and launch it in your area as part of Practical Strengths, but something that you're doing in your space. So this is something that can be done. I'm hoping to launch it both locally and a virtual one so that we can bring people in. But it'll be the idea if you do it locally is to do it every other week. So 6 weeks across 3 months. And it would be one in person, one virtual, one in person, one virtual, so that there's some flexibility with that as well. And then obviously the virtual one will just be all virtual. But it'll be, interwoven. It won't be like you do 2 weeks of strengths and 2 weeks of foresight and 2 weeks we'll actually kind of do a little bit of strengths introductory and then start blending them together by the third session. And the last 3 sessions will be kind of a combination working on a vision or a project where we do tools and thoughts around that. Okay. So some of those details are still being ironed out, but we're really close to getting to that beta launch. Most of you know we have the membership. The membership has changed only in the fact that I've simplified it. My strategic has to make it really complicated before I can get to the simple solution. So we're down, it's $17 a month or $175 annually. The QR code will take you to the membership page if you're not currently a member and you would like to become a member. We've had a couple different offers. I think most everybody here, if you're a co-op member, obviously you're a member. I think the rest of you, many of you are already members, but if you're not, or you're out there listening, this is an opportunity for you to join. And then our partnership levels with the co-op. So the co-op is currently $2,500 annual contribution, or it can be quarterly. By the second year, there will be ways to understand whether it's a revenue share or different ways that we can share that. But the goal is, as we build our co-op, to be able to give you a shared email, potentially have shared Zoom accounts, so to help you relieve some, even maybe to do a group policy for insurance. Not that we give you insurance, but we can get a discount because we can bring X amount of people to the table that would have it. So we can help, because I know when we're independent coaches, that can sometimes be a challenge. So those are kind of the big vision goals of the co-op. And then mentoring is just a light way to get into the same thing. For instance, co-op will go through the key training programs, which is language of you, the Speakeasy Lab, and Strengths as a Second Language. All 3 of those components are what make up the roadmap for the co-op. Those are free, they're included. And that right there is almost $4,000 worth of training. So $2,500 is a pretty good deal. Plus, you get lots of benefits on top of that and some personal mentoring. The mentoring program, you'll still pay for that training, but you'll pay like an 80% discount on the training, because our goal is for you to come into the mentoring, see if that's the path you want to take, get your confidence built up. And if you want, hopefully we will then bridge you into the co-op at some point. I'm not trying to grow a giant global co-op that's huge. My goal is to be maybe 50, 75 co-op members in one. And then when we get to that size, the goal would be to have somebody else create another hub. And so we want to do different hubs that have some regional impact, and kind of bridge it that way. So that's the big long game vision that we have going. Any questions about that? The next thing we're going to talk about is future strengths. Okay. And if you think of something, throw it in the chat, or we'll have time to talk at the end. Future of strengths. Second future of strengths. This is so exciting. We're doing it again. Really happy with the way things went last year. It is actually what completely clarified the idea of bringing the co-op and the mentoring to practice for me to really focus on the people who want to invest significantly in this path, and make it a key piece of what they do. The vision started with Don Clifton and his legacy. The first year it was done on the day he passed away. That's when we launched it, because we felt honoring his legacy, that was the best way to do it. We already have Strengths Day in February, which is his birthday, but we honored his legacy on the other side of it. And as you can see, he has significance in futuristic. So what better way to honor what we're doing with the future of strengths than by honoring him with this. This year, we are actually making it 3 days, not 2, because 14 hours a day for 2 days was long for me, but also incredibly it was invigorating. It was hard to believe how easy it was to do it. But to give my body a little bit of a break, we're going to be doing the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. That'll be the 3rd through the 5th. Change that. It's the 3rd through the 5th in APAC, not the 6th. So there will be hours that are available for everyone. You can expect international speakers. You can expect panels and roundtables. We had some great panels last year. Actually, Nicolay will be doing a couple of sessions. I believe one we're going to do on grants, and we're going to look at grant writing, and also how do you get a grant, and what do you need to know to get the grants, competitive grants, non-competitive grants. So we're going to facilitate a session around grants, because grants can fund your strengths work. So it's really important that we know that out there, because while we may not be able to apply for them, nonprofit is coming, but while we may not be able to apply for them yet, the clients we work with often can. And so we can help guide them and figure out how to get strengths paid for. We're also going to do a panel. So I've talked to a couple people already who are using strengths in their organizations and have used grants to fund what they're doing with strengths, Nicolay being one of them. I've met a couple other people recently. So I think we're going to have a panel to give different examples of how grants have been used to get strengths going in different places. This is appropriate for people with strengths knowledge at all levels. You can be a beginner, you can be advanced. Not every session is necessarily going to be perfect for you, but you will have something for everyone. So you don't have to worry about how knowledgeable you are about strengths, because there's going to be a lot there. And then we're going to expand the networking this year, because I think that's what we all love most, is really just talking to other coaches and doing what we can. So we're actually going to expand the networking, and I'll talk about that here in just a minute. So just to give you an idea, these were some of the wonderful speakers and facilitators we had last year, a really diverse set of topics. And overall experience, we got a 9.3 on our survey. I mean, I think that's pretty impressive for a first time running it all online. What you do, our speaker engagement was a 9.1, and 9.6 said they would recommend this to someone else. So let's hope we get double the numbers this year. I mean, that would be amazing if we can. I know I would be super excited about that, but we certainly have room for improvement. And I know there's things that we can do better, but those numbers were a happy surprise for me, I guess. My maximizer was happy, but I also am like, I know we can grow. I know we can do more. So the way this will go is so early bird tickets are on sale right now. So there are early bird plus tickets available, which I'll explain in just a minute. If you are a co-op member, you do not need to pay. And you also have some free invites. So I will explain that in a second as well. But early bird tickets are going on sale now. There'll be early bird prices through July. Then August, anyone who is currently enrolled and paid for will be invited to a special Speakeasy Lab training. So we're going to do our training with the co-op members, but we're also going to invite others, and that'll be available for a small upcharge of $100. So we're talking $1,000 training that you're going to be able to get for $100 just by being enrolled in the Future of Strengths program, which will give you some amazing understanding of strengths. So it's even perfect for beginners. If you don't know strengths really well, it's perfect for them. Then in September, we're going to do a foresight training session because this is the future of strengths. So we want to start imagining what we could do, where strengths could go, what impact could it have. And we're also going to start pre-forum networking. So we're going to have some networking opportunities where we have them both by interest and also general opportunity just around questions or conversations. So you'll probably see 1 to 2 networking sessions per week leading up to the forum. We will also build networking into the forum, but this will give you a chance to meet the people who are already coming and really make those connections before you even get there. And then the event itself is in October. So we'll be afternoon session. These times are not quite in stone. They're taped on the stone at the moment. We haven't fully etched them in, but we're looking at an afternoon on the 3rd, all day on the 4th, and the morning. Oh, sorry. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, like in APAC terms. On the 2nd, we will be in the afternoon, which is a Thursday. We will be all day Friday, and then we'll be on the morning on Saturday. So morning and early afternoon. So that is our goal to break this up. Working on agenda. So if you haven't filled out the survey yet to be a speaker, these were some of the topics we did last year. I know a few of you have already filled out the pre-registration. I'll have a link to that for you in a moment. We had some great stuff, and all of our topics tend to focus on education. We're really looking this year at education, well-being, and community. So community could be nonprofit, community could be any kind of support, well-being could be the sobriety, the grief, the things like, right? So we're going to look at just different things that have an impact, and then education will have its space. Because everything we talked about last year kind of falls under one of those 3 buckets, if you will. But we really focus on outside of corporate space and in the spaces where we know that this is showing up 24/7. Because our talents don't go home at 5 o'clock. They're with us everywhere we go, and they impact more than we think they do, right? So I'll be putting the agenda and finalizing most of that through June and into July. And then while prices are going up everywhere, we are taking the prices down. And again, we're doing this not because we don't believe in the value of what we're offering, but our goal and our mission is to make this accessible and democratize coaching and all of these tools so that people who really want to learn can. So our early bird price is $97. Right now, the extra early bird, the early bird plus, you actually get to bring a friend for free. So you're essentially getting 2 for 1 for your early bird price. Out there, you still get all the access, everything else. And I'm going to send you the downloaded PDF Spark journal. And I will be sending you, I've created an Excel sheet. I've got a Google sheet of 330, 340 strengths related quotes. So there's a column for every strength, and I've got 5 to 10 quotes for every strength. So if you're looking for something to share, for anything to write a little piece of recognition, you got it. Not all of them are open source. So if you're going to try to print it on something you want to sell, be careful. Just want to make that disclaimer. But if you're giving them as personal recognition things, you are good to go. So that's a little bonus if you sign up this weekend. Again, co-op members, you're kind of already in. But you can share that out there with your networks because this would be a great deal for people to get in on. Regular price is going to be $197. $197, both the early bird and the $197 one of the perks is if you are a member of the Practical Strengths community, this isn't open to everyone, but if you're a member of the Practical Strengths community, you can invite a friend for $47. So you can invite people in and get that benefit as well. So you get to invite one person for 47, and then recordings only are $77, which you'll get all of the sessions, but we're also going to invite you to the networking. If you want to upgrade to the Speakeasy Lab, you'll be able to do that upgrade, and you'll be invited to the Foresight sessions. So you will actually get to participate in other spaces, even if you can't make the forum. So this is for people who really can't make it, but want to be there, but want to have access to the recordings. We're going to do a better job organizing that this year. Like I said, we've learned some lessons, but I'm pretty excited about that. And then the mentee and co-op perks. So as I said, if you're a mentee or a co-op, there's no charge for you to attend. Both get 3 free invites, and then you get the mentoring program. The mentees get 5 and co-op members get 10, but you also get discounted invites as well, so that you can use those for warm leads, colleagues, organizations you're working with, anyone you want to put out there. But those are opportunities for you to give them that offer and spread the love. Any questions about the pricing? And then there's opportunities for volunteers. Volunteers, this specifically is really looking at day of. So if you can help a facilitator, make sure the things get recorded, make sure I get the files. You show up for one session, one panel. You can be a co-host as well, but pay $47, and whatever you're not volunteering for, you have access to everything else as well. So you actually get access to the whole thing for $47. That's why there's a bit of a commitment fee for volunteers. So you don't say you're going to be there and then not show up. So hopefully this is somebody who wants to come, but this might be the best way that makes it a possibility for them to attend. And then finally, of course, we have sponsorships. So we've got a flagship sponsor. We're going to put one up there. Flagship sponsor, you get 75 seats. So this is great for an organization, an educational institution, somebody who wants to invite people in to join them. Then you've also got all the other benefits that are there. I'm not going to read all of them. Then we have a community champion. We're going to offer 4 of those. That's for 40 seats being available. And again, great for organizations and institutions or schools. And then we've got a connection level, and the connection is to be a sponsor, but you can actually invite 5 people to join you. So you're really getting like 2 for 1, actually a little bit more than that, because if you're 6 total, you get 2 for 1. And then during the early bird, we're going to have a Spark Circle. And this is $197, 5 total seats. So that includes the person purchasing plus 4 more people. But you're going to get an Invite Your Circle pack. So we're actually going to be sending you a bunch of little goodies that are extras that you can use as an incentive to get everybody to sign up early. But we're only going to do 20 of those because we're spending out some pretty fun special stuff with that. I have it, but I'm not going to bore you with those details, but I will be sharing it eventually. But once our early bird plus is over and we launch this a little bit more fully, you'll see that Spark Circle option out there, and there's 20 of those available. And then finally, you guys can QR this. I can also throw these links in the chat for you. This purple one here is the pre-registration form. If you have not filled that out yet and you're interested in attending and or being a facilitator, speaker, panel, contributor in some way, please fill that out for us. That will get you added to our email list so that you can be up to date on all information. I do have one thread in the Gallup Webcast Facebook group. They've allowed me one post. I can update that post, but I can't post any additional posts. So if you happen to find that in the webcast and you just want to follow that one, you can also click the 3 dots to get notifications on that post. Do that. I'll also be posting on LinkedIn, so you can find that. This black and white QR code is for anybody who would like to go ahead and take advantage of that early bird plus for $97 plus a free invite. And that is all I have for you. That is my contact information. I'll leave it for a moment. And I'm going to stop sharing. And you guys didn't have any questions in the chat. So either I've overwhelmed you completely, I was thorough, or you're just processing everything.
Joe, I do have a question.
Yeah.
Do you know when you're going to have a list of, because I did submit to give a session again? Do you know when
Yes.
you're gonna tell people when and if they're gonna be giving a session?
Yes. I am actually going to probably keep taking solicitations through June, and then I'm going to be making final decisions in July once I have kind of everybody in and I know where we're going. I do have a few things there. I don't know if we'll have as many facilitated sessions as we had last year. I don't know if we're going to double up or not. It kind of depends on the amount of people we get in. I already have quite a list actually, so far. So I want to make sure that we get it and that we're offering a few new things from last year, or at least a plus over something that we did last year as well. So I would say give me through June, at least through the next couple of weeks, to get more solicitations in. And then I'll start making phone calls and talking to you about, like, so tell me more about what you want to do, what you're thinking, and we'll get that and then tie it up. Any other questions? Do you think you'll be coming this year? Okay, good. Excellent.
Joe, I saw the email, but I haven't had a chance to respond to the email. But I know you were talking about a request for the training dates.
Yes, training dates for us for the co-op. So the co-op got a separate email to give you, like, because we haven't talked in a couple of months. So, like, here's all the things. I know it seems like
Okay.
I've had some radio silence, but here's all the things that have been sort of working in the background. So yeah, so we've got some things, but I am looking to get trainings for us in July and August. If we could do it. I know summer can be kind of challenging, but I'm gonna try to get July and August on the books if we can make it happen. So there's a little survey in there too to say, like, I've picked days with a time range. If you're like, none of this works, just put it in the other. There's a place to leave a comment. But yeah. And if you have suggestions, I mean, if you attended the forum last year and you have some suggestions for something we should do, something you'd like to see, something we could do better, something we could refine, please share at any point. Always open to the feedback. The nice thing is we've got the foundation, we've got the forms, we've got most of this stuff. Now it's mostly just updating and refining. So hopefully it'll be a little bit less work this year. And I think we're actually going to have an intern that's going to help me with some of that too. So fingers crossed on that. Yeah.
And Joe, I wonder, have you thought about having a session to where it's like a train the trainer? Because sometimes I feel like we can get stuck using the same exercises over and over again. So have you thought about having one session just on different exercises that people are using, like with teams or groups, or have you thought about anything like that?
So one of the workshops we just did at Nicolet, I did a 3-hour on nothing but icebreakers and activities and things that they could use and grow as they could keep implementing. So yes, I will probably work that in there. Yeah, that went pretty well. It was a lot of fun. So we had a little speed networking in there. We had the core talents exercise that I do. We used the dice that I give out to everyone, different questions.
A shortened communications.
We had a shortened communication list. So yeah, we went through quite a few things we could do. So yeah, we can definitely do something like that. And that's hopefully we'll start bringing some of those back in the webinars too. So if you've got an activity you love, share it with other people and hopefully others will do the same. How was Colorado?
Amazing. It was really good. It was 146 in attendance.
That's awesome.
So,
well, we are
yeah.
looking to do ours in person. I am working with the lovely Yvette, just above your head on my screen, to be in Dallas in April next year. It's on the pre-registration form with 2 different dates in April that work. We might need to shift it if we're looking at education, you just space it, or we just may do another one that's just education and move it into another time. But right now we're looking at the 3rd or 4th week of April, a Thursday to a Sunday essentially, but it would really be like a Thursday night, Friday and Saturday session, and then Sunday optional or breakfast or whatever to get out.
Pretty cool.
So good.
Yeah, I think the Texas Coaches Coalition is going to Dallas too. And I'm not sure. I'll have
Okay.
to double check that schedule, whether it's March or April.
Okay.
But
So hopefully it doesn't.
yeah.
Well, let me know.
Yeah, I'll go back and look at those notes. This past year we did it at a Camp Allen, which is like up in Nacogdoches, which was nice
That's
because
where
it
I went to
was
school.
just
one
north of
semester.
Houston. Just
I
north of
went to
Houston.
Stephen F. Austin State University in Nacogdoches, Texas. I'm going to
Yes,
stop recording
so-
right now.